Tis the season, tis the season. The season of cream eggs. No, actually, it's also Destiny new expansion season. Almost. We're almost there. This is Erico Blueberry. It's an unassuming Destiny podcast. My name is chillybin.
My brain is made of cream eggs, and I'm Meckii.
We've talked a lot about a cream egg today already. I want to go get some after this, but we have only just started this episode, so that is some time away. Today is Sunday because of various issues with the Australian net. With the NBN, I'm tired. The Australian National Internet Infrastructure meant that we tried to record on a Thursday night, and the internet said, you can have none of this. And then we tried again on the Friday night, and it did the same thing. So I was hotspotting off my phone. And then I think because I didn't have quite good enough network speed, but also I had opened OBS before Discord, my video was nowhere to be found because Windows is a shit. And so here we are on a Sunday, just trying to get something out before Lightfall, which is, for us, 3 days away.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It came up. I feel like when they announced the release date, there was like, oh man, that's so far away.
1st of
oh
March
my God.
for us. It's fucking ages.
So long away. And then the last 2 weeks have kind of just flown by.
Well, also because they're putting out like at least one giant blog post about the changes they're making on like a Wednesday, and then the TWAB on the Friday, and then in amongst all of that, they're throwing trailers and shit at us, and end of season stuff is happening, and there's been a lot happening to distract
developer
from, like,
videos, like
yeah. And we're going to get to all of that because boy, is there some. Last week was the A5 Wagyu lore content. This week is like, I'm trying to think of the equivalent for like visuals in terms of the level of quality. Like this is the A24 week, I guess, right?
Snow aged Wagyu beef.
Yeah. This is like the when they were like
the Ari Aster.
No, but before the Polaroid company got like bought and then rebooted, Polaroid cartridges were really fucking expensive because they weren't making them anymore. This is that era where like it's all about visual medium. It's very nice. It's hard to get. I don't know if that metaphor tracks. I think it's interesting. Anyway, yes. This week's blog post, just to kind of blow past a bunch of numbers again, because there's way more detail on there than I care to cover. This week's one was all like Vanguard related stuff and kind of like PvE and how they're bringing the challenge back to it, which seems kind of interesting, some aspects of it. They're making the score of strikes actually kind of matter again. Or sorry, I should say Vanguard playlist activities, because it's not just strikes anymore. It's also a ton of battlegrounds and bits that have come out through seasons in the last, year or so they started including those in.
Yeah. I wonder if heists will eventually enter that rotation.
They've already said, like, I think maybe one or two of them is getting rolled in, but we've got like battleground stuff in there and like 2 or 3 variants of that already. Which I guess like it's a great way to reuse stuff because they're not really like building new strikes or building that many. Yeah. Like Witch Queen we had 2, right? But that's like on a per expansion basis, so once a year. So I'd guess with Lightfall we maybe get 1 or 2, maybe set on Neomuna. But yeah, rolling those battlegrounds and stuff in just helps to like pad that out so that you're not just running the same 7 strikes forever. The amount of times I've fucking been in the Vanguard playlist and hit the same thing 2 or 3 times in a row astounds me. But anyway, the thing with the score challenge is that it basically was a pinnacle source if you do a Nightfall over 100,000 score, which like I think is not too hard. But that pinnacle was only for the Nightfall, didn't matter for just regular playlist, for regular Vanguard. and it was like a 1-strike score. So like if you got close and didn't make it, like tough luck. But they're switching that up now to be like 200,000 points in totaled across multiple runs. So you can kind of chip away at it. Like if you're not at level for the you need to be at a certain difficulty level to be able to hit 100,000. So it makes it a bit more approachable. Like it's one of the pinnacle sources I basically just ignore every week because I'm not really running that many Nightfalls. But that's kind of nice. Switching up some of the stuff around like the element damage boosts instead of having like the singe and stuff like that. They're splitting that into 2 separate things called surge and threat. Surge being the outgoing damage, threat being the incoming. It sounds like they're doing that so they can have them be different elements at the same time, because it's usually like this week it's solar and everything that's solar hurts you more and you hurt other stuff more, and that's kind of it. They're doing some other stuff with like daily random modifiers and stuff like that, which makes it kind of interesting. Yeah, go read the blog post for yourself because there's a lot of stuff in there. They're also
lots of numbers.
Yeah, also making a lot of switches to like there's some stuff about like raid difficulties and lost sectors and things like that. So we'll see how that plays. Yeah, I basically just got that much in there. I was like, I give up. In terms of what we put in here. And then
we had the VDoc. We forgot to put it in the show notes, but we completely missed VDoc.
The whole thing?
Surely
yeah. Not. I'm literally scrolling back. I do not see that in there. Now we're bad at this. Oops.
I think we were just processing so much from the VDoc that it just...
Yeah.
And then also for us, it's like we watch the VDoc either on the way to work or as we're getting ready to work from home. Yeah. So quite often we jump straight from watching the VDoc into everyday life.
Yeah.
For me, I watched the VDoc as I worked, so there wasn't an opportunity to take notes. And then they started almost immediately after the VDoc bombing us with a teaser trailer and developer vlogs. And so it kind of escaped. But it was a good VDoc.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it
gave us a lot of insight.
It was kind of high level concept stuff, and then the little videos they put out after are the ones that are like really going into detail about different parts of it.
We got, was it Sam, the guy who does all the sound effects when he talks about abilities and
yes, it's like is it Dave Samuels?
Yeah.
Makes like very evocative. Anytime he shows up, I'm like,
I love him. Joe Blackburn now rocking mustache plus beard.
Yep.
So we got facial hair watch with Joe.
Yep. I honestly can't remember what was in that fucking video because so many other things have come out since.
I'm excited for the arcade Lost Sector. That sounds like an absolute delight, and I cannot wait to find it and run it. Talking more about, so the thing that was amazing to me, and I don't know if they'd gone through it earlier, but Strand is a darkness ability, but it's more paracausal than that. Like you're reaching into the fabric of time and space and pulling. I thought that was a really interesting explanation. Like, because we knew it was, you're pulling strands from the universe and stuff like that. Yeah. But we never really got any more insight into that. So them going into detail and explaining that, like, you know, you're pulling from the fabrics of like the fabric of the universe, basically. I was like, that's actually really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Other than it just being, it's a darkness ability.
Oh, it's kind of green. And then like, wait, so what are these fucking like little bugs that you're making? Where have they come from?
Threadlings.
Yeah. Are they just like...
my little freaks.
They're like crawling behind the walls of reality and you're just letting them out? Is that Matthew McConaughey behind the bookshelf in Interstellar? Is he just now a little beetle? I'm in your walls eating your cheese.
They're in the walls. But yeah, I thought that was really interesting. That was one of the main things I pulled from it.
Because I'm remembering stuff, but as I'm thinking, I'm like, no, that was in the weapons and gear trailer, and that one was in like the Strand developer insight video, and I can't.
Apparently, Neomuna has a beach made of diamonds. The sand in Neomuna is made of diamonds, according to one of the designers.
Yeah, cool. Oh, okay. The thing I think is like, they introduced two characters that seem relevant to the story, who come from like this group, the Cloud Striders. Who is it? It's Nimbus and Rohan. Everybody is apparently horny for Nimbus. They, them, officially confirmed pronouns. We stan. Just walking in like 8 feet of sex and metal. Just, what are we doing?
I mean, of course I would be more into, I gotta make sure I am using the right pronouns. And identifying the right one. See, they don't have their pronouns, but me being me, Rohan does it more for me.
Rohan, yeah. But yeah,
the old grizzled man.
Yeah, but the way they're like, there's some very cool bits of movement from them, because they've got like this thing that seems to sit on their back that they like, but it's also
a surfboard. But it also seems like they can use it to. There's a scene where I think it's Nimbus uses it to pull himself out of the way of a tormentor's cleave, and I was like, "That's cool." He's
like fallen to the ground to avoid a big hit, and then just like uses this thing to get like dragged out of harm's way. It's very, very cool.
It's like a weapon and a hoverboard. And
I'm intrigued to see how that kind of plays out, because it made it clear that like they are going to be interacting with us, and like we have essentially infinite lives, whereas they have one because they're not light bearers. And like, I'm interested to see what that dynamic ends up being.
Like, and the way they described them almost made them out to be like a buddy cop thing, where Rohan's the grizzled veteran and Nimbus is like the rookie who's enthusiastic about the job and rambunctious and
Nimbus cocky. Nimbus is the one like jumping through the window, and Rohan is down on the street with a clipboard working out how much that's going to cost the city. Because he knows it's coming out of his budget at the end of the year.
He's a day off retirement.
Yeah, constantly.
Are they gonna do that meme?
I don't know what retirement would mean for them.
Well, they've already established that they live a very short lifespan, the Cloud Striders. That's the sacrifice for being as strong as they are. I think they only end up being like in the job, quote unquote, for like a decade or something, because the sacrifice of their ability is they have a shortened lifespan. I think we spoke about it in the past, where it was like they're almost like the antithesis of the Guardians, where the Guardians are given this ability and a longer lifespan and they can regenerate. But on Neomuna, they've distanced themselves from the Traveler, which has resulted in them, in order for them to have the ability that they have, they've had to shorten their lifespan. And it feels like a greater sacrifice than what the Guardians do. You know what I mean? It's like that flip side of the coin where it's like, okay, but what is sacrifice when you boil it down? And it's like the Cloud Striders do this knowing that they're cutting their life in half. Like, yeah, it's really interesting. I can't wait to go into that. I'm actually really intrigued by the Cloud Strider lore.
Yeah. And
I can't wait to like dig more up as I play.
Also just like all of like where we're going in Venus, like all of this stuff that has been intentionally kept hidden from literally everybody. And now we know where it is, and now we're going there. And all of these like big conspiracy-laden keywords are getting paid off, like Nepheli Stronghold and Veil, and like all of this shit is finally going to come to a head. I'm going to try and get through that story as fast as I fucking can, but I also want to do the legendary version first to try and get the gear boost, and that's going to take longer, because it always does. But they have said, I forget in which post, that they've kind of tuned the legendary campaign. I think it was this week's one about challenge, that they've tuned that legendary campaign experience to be like a little bit more balanced depending on how many people you have. Because like, I remember trying to do that Witch Queen one solo and it was fucking brutal. But it sounds like they've tweaked like combatant health levels so that if you're going by yourself, it's still like fairly doable.
Yeah, because I remember I got through 2 missions legend and I ended up pinging you guys and being like, I'm going to need help with this one.
And like even with 3 of us, and even with
it was still pretty rough.
Even with
that
2 out of
fight.
Yeah, even with 2 out of the 3 having done it before, that last couple of bits of it is pretty tough. But anyway, was there anything else in the VDoc? Because you seem to remember it better than I do.
I think that's about it. The stuff that jumped out at me is like the design, and they showed some concept pieces. So if you haven't seen the VDoc, definitely go watch it. Also, you get to meet so many of like the key concept artists and the sound designers and Joe, and it's just worth watching because there was a few new faces in this one too. Beaches are made of diamond. I thought that was pretty cool. Like the atmospheric pressure creates, instead of sand, it's created diamonds. I thought that was neat. Parts of the city are in ruin. They said you feel like you're being dropped into an active battlefield.
Oh.
Because Callus is there, the Tormentors are there, and you're just being dropped in.
But why?
Which sounds pretty cool.
I don't really like. I know we're kind of going there for like the Vale or the Nefeli Stronghold, whatever, but like, is that it?
Yeah. What else is? We discovered the fish are called puka. The fish ghosts.
We've known
I didn't know
that name for a bit.
I didn't know that.
I also don't think they're actually ghosts. Like that thing that follows the Elsie Bray around. It's referred to as a companion. It's never referred to as a ghost. A pet. Yeah.
But there's a section called the Puka Pond that Guardians can visit. I'm so excited to find that. Holy shit. Because I regret not buying the special edition because now I want like a Puka ghost for my shelf.
Yeah. If there's not already, I'm sure there will be some kind of emote where you interact with a Puka and you can just stand there and kind of fuck around with some space flying fish.
My new hyperfixation for this expansion. Pukas.
Yes.
Yeah, and then Arcade Lost Sector, they talked a lot about the Strand and what it is. I've forgotten most of it because we've been just bombarded with information this week. They talked about the exotics, which was interesting. Yeah, definitely go. I say go watch it because those VDocs are always really good. But then on top of that, it's just really nice to put developer faces.
Yeah,
to work.
Especially when like so much of that studio is still working remotely and will continue to. It's nice to see them kind of come together and like talk to each other about the things they're excited about. And they're so
passionate, which I love. Just the passion. Yeah, and then we got a teaser for the trailer shortly after that.
Yeah, the like 20-second teaser for the trailer that was coming out the next day.
Yeah. And I think I said something. I sent you the teaser and I said, I swear to God, if Amanda dies, I riot.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's a little clip.
My bisexual mulleted queen.
Yes. But yes, then the launch trailer proper. It's like what, like 90 seconds, like they usually are. But boy, there's some juicy shots in this one. So
much. I've rewatched it so many times. I was rewatching it while I was getting ready to record too.
Yeah, like, and I've seen people like draw parallels from the like into the Taken King, where like all of this big energy wave goes out and blows up all the ships, and like one darkness ship is basically doing that on its own. And it looks like, you know, the Witness is kind of controlling them and making that come out, at least the way that they're setting it up in the trailer. I was actually having a conversation with someone at work who has not played Destiny in a while, but did. It was just like, what is kind of happening with the story? I'm like, well, it's essentially the light and the dark now finally fighting, but there's some language that I've heard this week that I want to kind of nuance that with, which is I think they say it in the trailer or one of the videos that came out this week, like the witness is wielding the darkness. It is not the darkness incarnate or like the darkness itself. And I would imagine the witness is the equivalent for the light, right? The witness is kind of wielding and perpetuating and sharing the light. But yeah, it's just the shots of the witness just fucking floating through space, no ship. Fuck, it's so menacing.
Yeah. They've definitely in this really like documentary too, like it seems like any reflective surface shatters and witnesses around it, like the glass shatters in the helm when they're like what is that? And Mara's like it's the witness. Like she knows what it is the moment, so she's had some sort of experience probably through the Techians as well, but
yeah.
And he's just approaching the traveler.
I don't know if like the witness breaks any piece of glass is like an
like
important characteristic. Yeah,
but you know what I mean. They've associated that imagery with him, and I realized that like when he appears to Aramis in the final cutscene of last season, the screen that he's on shatters.
I thought it already was cracked,
or it's cracked. But it's like anytime he's kind of associated or he's being viewed by someone he's controlling. For some reason, there's shattered glass iconography around him, and I don't know if they went, that just looks cool. Like,
yeah, it's got to be like
a horror villain having a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My guess is it's more like they're trying to reflect something that they haven't told us yet, like whether it's the nature of like shattering aspects of reality or like some other thing about the witness that we just don't know yet. Because appearing through broken mirrors is not necessarily that scary.
Yeah, but it's just like, what kind of ability or power does this thing possess if like it's associated with broken things? You know what I mean?
I mean, speaking of powers we don't know about, the witness fucking Kamehameha at one of the pyramid ships in this fucking trailer.
Oh, the Traveler?
What did I say?
The witness.
Oh, I meant the Traveler, yes. The
it's
Traveler just like, here's a beam. But also, like, it's very hard to see, but the edge of that pyramid ship where the beam is hitting, we can see flowers and stuff popping out.
Yeah, like just almost like the garden.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like that is a subtle reference to the parable of the gardener and the winnower, because that's only ever been like it's a myth about the light and the dark. It's never actually been like an overt thing of like the traveler is the gardener, because it doesn't really mean anything as far as names go.
Yeah, it's just I guess like a folktale in a way.
Like it means something in that story because it's, you know, growing the garden and then cutting it back so that it can continue to grow. But yeah, there was a nice little touch. Whether or not that actually turns out to be like mechanically relevant, who knows? But that was sick. And then there's like a shot of the witness moving through. Well, it looks like moving through what that beam is. Whether or not it's like they've cut it in to make it dramatic, but it's like it looks like he's flying through hyperspace, but it also, the hyperspace around him looks basically like that beam that comes out of the Traveler.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to make of that part.
Then there's the Ghost and the Titan being charcuteried.
Yeah, it felt very like samurai anime, you know, where they do like the quick sword move and then nothing happens and then it just like slowly slides apart.
Yeah, so about that, I have a theory that I just want to put out there. One of Meckie's predictions. Let's see if I can nail it again. So a lot of people think it's the witness doing that. But the thing is in that cutscene, the beam that ship is surrounded by is the same blue beam that comes out of the Traveler.
Right.
So is that more of like the Traveler did that?
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's accidental.
Right.
Like maybe it fired the beam and that fire team happened to be in the way when it happened. And that's a big moment for the Vanguard to go, look, the Traveler's not afraid to take casualties to protect itself or to protect the universe. It's not afraid to nerf a Guardian. You know what I mean?
The thing I would temper that with, in cutscenes where we see a Guardian and a Ghost together, that like generic red and white Ghost is where they are putting the player stand in, as in our character, as in the character that cannot die.
Bife pointed out that like those ships and those Guardians are what are considered the OG Guardians. They're the same kind of stand-ins that happen all through the lifespan of Destiny 2, as there's always been the OGs. So I don't know if maybe they've just decided to stick them in the cutscene because it's fun, because it's like, haha, they've been here and now they're gone. But yeah, I rewatched it a couple of times, and like people are like, oh, do you see the way the Witness just like pulled a Guardian and a Ghost apart? Like they're not coming back. They've been charcuteried. Like they've been sliced up simultaneously. That Guardian can't come back now.
Yeah.
And I was like looking at the scene and I was like, actually, that looks like the beam that came out of the Traveler. And then it cuts to the ships, and the ships have been sliced the same way, and it's a similar beam. And I was like, So, I'll put it out there. Potentially, the Traveler is not afraid to team kill.
Yeah, or maybe somehow it's the Witness, like
maybe
doing like using
we'll find out.
Like redirecting that same beam, or like who knows? This is the first.
Who knows? Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, it's the first time we've seen the Witness directly involved in conflict. It's always up until now been through proxies and that. This is like, hey motherfucker, I'm just here in front of you. I'm gonna direct this pyramid to blow your shit up now. You know, it's not, I'm gonna get this Witness and the Disciple, and the Disciple's gonna do the thing, and you're gonna go after them because you think they're the problem. I don't like it. But I also do. I'm very excited to see like what Callus in the flesh actually ends up like, because I mean,
so much flesh.
Yeah, because in the Leviathan raids and that, it was always just robot Callus, it turns out. This time it's like, oh, he's been sitting in an oven this entire time, and the Witness is going to show us what he's baked for us.
All 9'11" of him.
Yes. Yes. And his giant space boat. Yeah. It's all so unsettling, I think, is the best word for it.
I think I pulled a couple of lines that I was like, which is, you have no purpose because you fear to seek none. That's heavy.
You fear to seek one or none?
Yeah, that's it. You fear to seek one, sorry.
Right.
That's heavy. That's like saying to the Guardian, like, oh, you don't actually have a purpose. Mm-hmm. You don't. You think you do, but you're just happy to shoot, kill, die,
you're just
repeat.
The thing the Traveler brought to life.
Traveler. Yeah. And we know pain and we seek to end it, is another one of his lines. And I'm like, that's interesting.
What a moody little emo.
Because he says to Aramis, show them your pain.
Yeah.
In that cutscene. So he talks a lot about pain, and he seems, or they, sorry, we don't really know what the Witness is. They seem to associate the Traveler with pain a lot. They make that parallel quite a lot when they talk. And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
So the Witness throwing down bars.
Yeah.
Bars.
Just very slow, very ominous bars.
Another line from the VDoc that I put later. Collapse 2.0 has already started during Lightfall. That was one of the story writers dropped that in the VDoc, and I was like,
It's almost less surprising because you've called the expansion Lightfall. Like,
yeah, but course. Just to solidify that and be like, the collapse has already started. Yeah. This isn't you preventing it. This is you trying to stop it.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, very quick shout out to Destiny, the meme, for putting the reverb fart sound over the Traveler's beam. As soon as I saw that shot, I was like, somebody is going to do this, and I'm very happy that someone has. It happened very quickly.
It was that or the whoa sound effect, the scream. One of those was going to happen.
Yes. God.
And in Bungie tradition, they've found a banger of a cover to put in their trailer.
Yeah, see,
they keep using covers.
I'm not much of a Radiohead guy, so like I didn't really notice.
So there was the orchestral kind of synthy cover of Paint It Black.
Yeah.
For
Beyond Light.
Is that Beyond Light? Not so much a cover, but a remix of another song that I've completely forgotten the name of. For Witch Queen. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to, actually, I have a playlist called Destiny 2 trailer music.
Of course you do.
Cruel World by Fantagram.
Yeah.
And then this is a remix / cover of Karma Police by Radiohead.
Yeah, cool. Great. Shout out to Radiohead fans everywhere getting something.
I just really like that they use covers of already existing songs in their trailers. I think it's really interesting that they choose to use covers.
Yeah, and then they've got... so they have put out a couple of tracks from the Lightfall soundtrack, and I swear to God, one of them starts out like All I Want for Christmas by Mariah Carey, and also sounds a bit like Whiplash from the movie Whiplash.
Oh, yes. What did I call Whiplash? Black Swan for boys.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yes. But yeah, some interesting music already kind of getting teased out from the actual expansion itself. They are definitely leaning into the like 80s action movie kind of vibe. I think like Joe Blackburn said as much in the VDoc or like on Twitter. It's like, we're going for this vibe, but also trying to make it incredibly dark and serious. So there's lots of neon and explosions and rock music, but we'll see.
Synths and...
Yeah, we'll see how they fucking thread that needle. Oh.
That should be good. Their composers in general.
Yeah, well, it's still
amazing.
Still Salvatore, Michael Salvatore, who I think has been around since the beginning of D2. So just continuing to put in the work. I mean, he might have been around still when Marty was around, but he's I think he's like basically the main guy as far as the soundtracks and that go now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'd love to see, actually, to be honest, I would love to see more content around the music, like more BTS stuff about the music. Because, like, admittingly, I love watching band documentaries. You know how a lot of bands will do like studio documentaries.
Yeah,
like some of my favorite... Yeah, like some of my favorite pieces of content are like the documentary that came with 1,000 Suns by Linkin Park.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bananas and Welcome to the Plastic Beach by Gorillaz. And it's just them going through the studio process.
Yeah.
And tours and stuff like that. Like,
yeah, I think like
I would love to see content about writing and recording and how they come up with the orchestral pieces, like whether it's they get a completely animated scene or like they've just fed storyboards and told what the emotion of the environment is. And
yeah,
and then also their sound effect stuff.
Yeah, I know there's bits and pieces of that over the years. Like, it was definitely more of a thing when Bungie was doing Halo and Marty O'Donnell would do stuff like that, and like seeing them do all the shit on like giant CRT monitors and like old ass software was crazy. But yeah, we've had like, they had a big focus on the sound effects for Beyond Light. It was like, here's all this weird stuff we're using for sounds, and they had a bit of that actually for
VDoc.
Lightfall,
yeah. The Strand sound effect is like fingers and tape
plastic
on
just dragging
on they call it, what do they call it? We call it glad wrap.
Like cling film, saran wrap.
Cling film, saran wrap. Yeah. That's it. It's just rolls of saran wrap stretched, and they're like running their fingers along it, or like pulling like painter's tape off of it, or like poking holes in it. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, they found...
I want to see more shit like that.
Yeah. And I remember the ones around Beyond Light and this one, and we haven't had much about the music kind of ever. that I
My
can
favorite
remember.
Beyond Light moment, which is finding out that some of the sound effects are just a breast pump.
Yeah, and then everyone trying to figure out which sound it was, and nobody getting it correct. I don't even know what it is, like what the right answer there is, but it's in there somewhere.
I just love the idea of like a sound designer's just sitting there pumping milk and then going, wait a minute.
Yeah. If I take this sound sample, slow it down, add some effects, it sounds like this other thing now.
We have a gun now.
Yeah, or maybe it's like it might even be like one of the super activation sounds, or one of the ability.
It'd just be an environmental sound on Europa too.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be a wild time, and it's
I'm so excited.
It's so close. Holy shit!
And you'd think that all the stuff that they're dumping on us at the moment would be overwhelming, but for me, it's just like building the hype.
Yeah, I mean they're also like repeating bits of it in like as they're going through it. So like the VDoc, they had all like the sets and lighting and stuff that they were using for that. That is also what they're showing in like the Strand developer insight. So I'm guessing they just shot all that shit on the same day. But it makes it seem like they've thought about it and broken down what would have been a much bigger piece into these kind of discrete chunks, which is nice.
It's also good too because like some people don't care about the music. Some people don't care about sound effects. Some people probably don't really care about Neomuna as a location. Some people don't care about the lore. Some people don't care about the darkness. So breaking it into these digestible chunks is also going to help the people who don't necessarily want to sit through a 15-minute VDoc.
Yeah, instead
maybe
it's
they only care about the Strand.
Darkness unveiled Strand video.
Yeah, like it's definitely making it more digestible. And it's also like they probably recognize it's a lot of information to dump on us. Yeah. So they're probably just like, hey, so let's break it up.
Yeah. But yeah, some cool stuff in that Strand video. They talked about like the way that the Titan Super had even changed during development because it just wasn't as fun or wasn't working the way they wanted it to.
Wasn't tracking how they wanted or something.
Yeah, like the melee hits weren't tracking.
Meant to be a long range thing, and it just wasn't tracking.
No, I think what they were saying is like because it's primarily like you're connecting punches back to back very quickly. What it lacked completely was any kind of ranged shutdown. And so they gave it the ability to suspend enemies like at range so that you could close that gap and then start hitting them as well. But yeah, showing more of that stuff around like suspending enemies in the air, hunters. I think it's hunters, or like showing what the tangle objects can be done, which I think is probably going to be a pretty hunter main kind of thing where you're like killing an enemy, spawning this little orb, which you can then pick up, throw, and then while it's traveling through the air, you can grapple on it and get pulled forward. And I love that they discovered that during playtesting and kept it. Because it wasn't intentional.
Because the grapple is replacing a grenade.
Yeah.
So the grapple fills your grenade slot. So they said, how do we make this also have the functionality to a degree of a grenade? And they're like, what if we got just real fucky with it?
Yeah. Yeah, and there was
let's take this bug and make it a
there was a cool thing with
a feature.
I think it's the hunter melee, which is like it's like a knife on a dart, and or no, I think it. Trying to remember which one it was now. One of them, it was like throw this dart and it will go through. It will hit every enemy it can before coming back to you, and if you hit the melee at the moment that it returns to you, you get melee energy back. I don't know if that means it fully recharges it, but it's still kind of neat that you've got this like timing window based thing to be able to do it. Because
the hunter's strand ability is basically a rope dart, like a kunai on a rope. And then I think they've also got like a dart, like it kind of reminds me of the dart from Guardians of the Galaxy. Michael Renner's character, where he controls it with the whistle.
Yeah.
Reminded me of that a little bit.
Yeah. It was just like darting between shit.
And then the Titan gets the crab hands that we made fun of a couple of episodes ago. The my fruit up hands. Looking like the things from, what is it, Starship Troopers?
Oh my God, yes.
I'm doing my part.
Yes, I am too.
And then it looks like the Warlocks is more similar to void where it's like an orb, ponder the orb.
Yes.
But it's constantly pulling threads into the orb. And then we get the threadlings, or as I like to call them, little freaks.
Yeah.
Little hedgehog looking
what
armadillo threadling.
You need to like start running that spider sparrow like year round and go way into the strand like with little spider babies. Oh,
These are my hatchlings.
You make a real gross looking build, even though like it's not doing anything about the functionality of it. It just looks gross. Ugh.
Just turn my Halloween cursed thrall fit in green or something.
Yeah.
Oh god, the thrall have strand shit.
Yeah. Is there going to be an enemy that runs strand?
Oh, yucky.
Because like the Scorn...
A Lixney with strand? Ooh.
Well, the Scorn runs stasis now. In some cases. So like maybe it's...
And I mean, the brood queens to a degree in the hive.
Yeah.
They have that solar explosion they can do as well.
Yeah.
So there's elements of the ability, like the subclasses in other than, you know, just outright Lucent Hive. But yeah, they're starting to dip in. There's the Tormentors who control Void.
Yeah. Those big boys. The big old scythes.
Super interesting that they've got almost like a finisher where they can grab you and crush you.
Fuck, I forgot about that.
Yeah. And the developers have said that if you get locked into one of those holds, what they do is they fade the music and all of the sound effects out while you're in that hold. So it feels like more of they said like a dire, intimate.
Right.
Like an actual moment of panic where you kind of like your brain kind of shuts everything out when you're in a moment of panic and it's just silence or like muffled. They're like, yeah, the music fades out, the sound effects fade out, and then the finisher happens. And essentially what they use is void energy and they just...
I don't like it.
So while you're low level, your entire thing is you have to try and avoid getting locked into that finisher essentially when you're around them.
Yeah, that was like week 1. Hey, what is a brig? Let's run away.
Yeah, us. What the fuck is that?
Or like, it took a while even with the Witch Queen before we felt comfortable taking on a Hive Knight.
Oh yeah,
or like,
a lot of hiding.
Even the ones that are like roaming around the throne world, just being like, yeah, I can do this now. Like those ones that like spawn in packs and waves that you then, you know, unlock a chest from. Like those were some of the scariest shit. And then the first time I was able to, I think it was just tooling around with someone in the throne world, we were able to like clear that first wave and then more show up and they're worse. And we were like, nah, fuck this. We're still not ready.
Just running stuff with you guys and then hearing one of those Lucent Hives proc a super and then watching all three of us scramble like rats behind bushes. Just like, run away.
Get out of here. I'm trying to do bounties. Trying to pick up some resources.
Or like in story missions or like, they're not in strikes, but yeah, when you rerun the story mission stuff.
They're in the Lightblade strike.
Yeah, the Lightblade stuff, right? It's just like early days of Witch Queen, you'd hear that super proc and it'd be like, whoa.
I didn't do that.
Everyone disappear.
And then the like trying to do the math on like
shield.
Should I run in to crush the ghost yet? That was always the hard part. The
shield. You'd hear the shield bearer super proc and we'd be like, Chili, is that you? Was that you? Like, nope.
I'm running solar. Actually, no, I was running a lot of Void that season because it was Void 3.0. It could have been me, but it wasn't.
Chaos Reach proc, and I was like, that's not me.
I didn't do this.
That wasn't me.
Fuck. We're going to do that all again.
I'm excited for moments where tormentors pop up and we just disappear. Like,
yeah,
nope.
I don't want to deal. And then do they chase us? I hope not.
Oh my god.
Do they
grapple away?
They get on sparrows? God.
Grapple away.
Yeah, just everyone
swing away.
Just fucking like Spider-Man out of here. Like, bye.
You jump on your sparrow and I'm just grappled to the back of it. Like, nope.
Yeah, whoever gets on a sparrow first, everyone else just like skitching behind.
Just a lot. There's going to be a lot of just skitching through Neomuna. Watch. We'll load in and it'll just be skitching.
It just looks like a fucking multiplayer Tony Hawk map.
Me blasting American Wasteland over the Discord.
No, it's just
soundtrack.
Superman by Goldfinger on repeat. Yeah, that'd be a good time. Or just Gunship, because it feels very tied into the
feels
aesthetic.
Very Gunship, yeah. Like you could put, oh fuck, what is that big one by them? Oh man, words are hard.
I mean,
today.
I'd go Tech Noir, but the Carpenter Brute remix.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking for. It's like Tech Noir or Pink Mist even would whip while you're on Neomuna.
Yeah.
It's going to be so fun. We're going to have to add a whole bunch of Gunship to the shared playlist for Neomuna time.
Yes. Yeah, so we'll just do the like, what is it, the Spotify listening party in the Discord. Just like,
and it's just
get in, bitch. We're going to Neomuna. Although, like, it's a new expansion. I'm going to be listening to the music of the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm
going to blast that shit in my ears.
I'm excited to see if we get PvP maps and what they look like and what some of the potential strikes could look like on Neomuna. We already know about the arcade Lost Sector, but I'm also like, what other Lost Sectors are going to... I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I think other than doing mission just to get the lore, because I'll probably play the lore on easy. Well, the main story on easy, just because you know what I'm like with lore. I like to absorb it. I think I'm going to spend a lot of time exploring Neomuna and listening to retrowave and synthwave.
Yeah, like that first time in a new environment and going like, okay, where are the region chests and where are the lost sectors, and like just clearing all those bits out, because it's a good way to like, you have to like explore a lot of the map to find those things, and then you find all the weird secrets that they've put in there. And that was like with the throne world, we had all the deep site shit that didn't even unlock all of it until like 3 or 4 weeks in.
Yeah, I wonder if they're going to have like a deep site equivalent. They'd have to.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because it was...
Not like deep site, but you know what I mean? Like a thing that ties in to kind of force you to explore the environment.
They always have like some version of secrets in the main environment for an expansion. I just think the deep site and the way it was layered over a few weeks was like needlessly tedious. But who knows? It sounds like there's going to be a lot of shit to do either way.
Yeah, I'm excited. So excited.
Yes. It's an exciting time of year. And then we've got a new season. I know fuck all about that.
Season of Defiance?
Well, we know the name, and that's kind of all we know.
Yeah, I just couldn't...
some
the VDoc went in... Yeah, the VDoc went into it a little bit. There's apparently we're going to have a lot more to do with Shorhan and Devron K. Because you got to take into consideration part of the collapse is the fight for Earth.
Yes.
So apparently we're going to have a bit more to do with those two. Seems like Amanda's going to have a bigger part in the story again.
She's in that launch trailer.
Trailers, but like... Part of me is worried they're gearing up to...
She doesn't show up in much.
Yeah, I always get really sus when they have a character that doesn't show up a lot and then all of a sudden they're like, they have a lot to do, and I'm like, you're gonna break my fucking heart, aren't you? Because they brought Osiris back just to fucking take him away.
Yeah. I think
they built up all that emotional tension with Saint and Osiris and then
there was
copped that.
I'm just remembering this. There was a shot right at the end of that launch trailer that looked a bit like Sagira, because it was Traveler and then like 2, I guess, pyramid ships either side of it.
I'm wondering if it
might just be a callback, but like I remember that.
There's a few shots in there that show the pyramids hovering upright around the traveler. So it forms almost like a sun or a flower, even, depending on how you look at it. There's definitely in last season and in some of the lore books that came with the Lightfall special edition, there's definitely mentions of like they still have Sagira's shell.
Yes. Yeah, because we went and found it during Witch Queen.
Yeah. So there's some information. See, on top of all the information that Bungie's been throwing at us, I've been consuming Blythe and Mylin and like lore videos out the arse as well. So it's all just one big
soup.
One big neon 80s like soup in my brain.
Yes, lore soup.
Their expansion also, special edition also gives us an insight into Cabal biology as well.
I don't know if I need where do they store their pee?
In the Cabals.
Yeah, good. Okay. As long as that hasn't changed.
Turns out women or femmes have the tusks.
Yeah.
Which is the antithesis of kind of what earth creatures do.
Yeah.
And the males carry the children.
Yeah, I feel like those two bits
breastfeed them.
I feel like those we kind of knew.
It goes into more detail because you hear a lot about Keitel and Callus's relationship through the lens of Callus finding another mate and having more children.
Right, stepdad energy.
So like seahorse energy.
Oh, yeah.
Where like the children are stored in the caboose. Like,
yeah.
I just thought it was real. I was watching it while I was getting ready. Bife was talking about it, and I was like,
"Did Bife say caboose?"
No,
surely not.
Bife would never say caboose. I think he was like, "Oh, I think the male Cabal might have a pouch," and I was like, "Caboose."
Yes. I want Bife to say a naughty word to me.
But apparently the male Cabal can just reject the young.
Oh, just like, hey homie, your vibe's off.
Yeah, so Callus got into a fight with his new mate and then just rejected and in the words of the lore book and Bife, the underdeveloped offspring. He just
see you later.
Yeah, and then was just like, see ya, go find someone else to carry them.
I'm off to the shops. I won't be back.
Going to go get some cigarettes and milk.
Yeah. And then he comes back with a whole new warship.
Yeah. But just the opening line of the lore book from Keitel's perspective, I am 3 years old and my dad is pregnant.
Is that
I was like, excuse me?
That's
excuse me?
Imagine watching a movie and like black screen. That's like the voiceover as it fades up. I am 3 years old.
My father is pregnant. Hi, I'm Keitel. You might have wondered how I got here.
Yeah. Anyway, my dad loves pegging.
This is my dad. He's pretty cool, except for he's a dictator.
Uh-oh. He's a bad man.
And then when I was 2 centuries old, I was involved in the Midnight Coup.
Oh. That's a lot of time not accounted for.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on, but also it depends on the, orbit of whatever planet they're from.
Yeah, actually, that's
a year to us might be completely different to them.
The Cloud Striders, 10 years on Neptune is equivalent to a lot more time in Earth. Like, depending on how you interpret year. Like, if it's a Neptunian year, how long it takes Neptune to go around, that's different to Earth.
Yeah.
So I wonder.
I know people are hella thirsty for Nimbus, but you'll need to remember he's technically 10.
Well, are they...
Calm the fuck down.
Are they Cloud Striders from birth, or is it like a thing you opt into later in life and then you do that for 10 years?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
But he's technically 10. Well, calm the fuck down.
Yeah, this is starting to sound like real dice. You're like, well, it depends which planet you're on.
It's just a cartoon. I don't fucking care. Cut it the fuck out.
Yeah, you still drew this character at this age doing these things. Settle down. All anime.
I'm about to ruin a lot of Wattpad authors' days by being like, hey, before you go and write that fucking fan fiction. Technically 10.
Yeah. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. No, no, no. All right. We're writing a spiral at the moment. Is there anything else related to Destiny before we roast anime more?
I think we covered everything. We went through the trailer. We recommend watching all of the developer content just firsthand for yourself.
Yeah, just go to like the Destiny YouTube channel and look at the shit from like the last week or two.
Watch it in every language, because do not forget they upload everything in 12 different languages.
Yes. Yeah. You don't need to do that. Just watch one. Watch your language, because it's probably
It's really bad when you have upload notifications on for Bungie, and on the same day they upload 24 different videos because they do it in every language.
Yeah, yeah. That
inclusivity, I love it, but like I got 24 upload notifications in 2 hours. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Yeah, go watch all that shit.
Yeah, definitely consume that content by like yourself. Bife is putting out some really great videos breaking it all down as well.
Yeah, and also doing a fairly good job of like not. I mean, it's hard to spoil stuff. Nothing's out yet, but like not trying to give away too much, but also not stepping too far into speculating, but also making it very clear when he does.
He's churning those videos out really quickly too, because I think same day as the trailer, he had a video
stuff to talk about.
Mylin's also putting out some content about it. He goes into the Cabal dynamic a lot more. That was a really good video too.
Yeah, I mean, his content goes way deeper on very. He also does
a little bit more speculation, but he does speculation and then backs it up with, and here's why I feel that way, and here's the lore evidence that would explain that.
Yeah,
which I enjoy. But yeah, it's gonna be a big week. We got 4 more days, and then we're on Neo Muna, right? No, 3.
Well, less than 3 because it's now Sunday evening.
Yeah. And then we finally get to explore Neo Muna.
I don't know what time I'm going to get up on Wednesday, but it'll be early.
Yeah, I'm ignoring about if I'm going to stream, but I might try and get up nice and early, and we can sit in a constant state of connecting to Destiny 2 servers together and slowly lose our minds.
Like, if you are considering streaming, like just wait until you can actually get into the game before you fucking start that, because there'll be enough people doing that.
It'll be a just chatting stream for like 6 hours.
It's like Destiny in one corner, you playing a different game on the screen, and then you just like throw this away, Destiny's ready.
Beyond Light, I was reminded the other day that the Beyond Light launch was just you and I streaming with the waiting screen up in the corner and us fucking around with OBS for an hour and a half.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that because it was like 4 a.m. Dear.
Me crying about Barracks' arm getting ripped off.
God.
That's caught on stream too. Me getting deeply upset.
That's like opening 20 minutes of the game. I'm going to rip this man's arm off and freeze him.
Me getting really upset. I was so angry.
And then we turn around and there's a break. Fuck. Beyond Light. What a time.
It drops from the fucking sky and we're all like, what is that?
Can I have one? I want to drive it.
Let me in the break.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Yes.
It's going to be fun. 3 more days of last minute level grinding.
Yeah, I'm like, I need literally 1 pinnacle to drop in my heavy weapon slot to be at like pinnacle cap. and it's irrelevant now. But there's part of me that's like, I could just do a little bit of Destiny. But also, because of the build crafting stuff that's coming, one thing I will do is strip literally every mod off my armor, just because I don't want it to break anything. And I got to get my fashion right for day one cutscenes.
True. I might just go back to Goblin or Trash Deer for the cutscenes as per tradition.
Well, see, my tradition is new fit for a new expansion. And I haven't decided yet. I need to just get in there and see what I've got to play with. What I usually do is like start with the exotic armor and how that's going to look and kind of build around that, because they're pretty... Usually you get like 1 or 2 options of how you make that look, depending on how many ornaments are even in existence. And then that kind of dictates a lot of what a build will look like for me.
I should probably break down all 70 of my blowouts.
It's probably a good idea. You might need that space.
I played a lot of Mayhem last week.
That's right. Every time I drop one, I'd think of you. All right, let's get out of here. We are spiraling on a Sunday, and I still have to edit this and put it out.
Oh, jeez.
That'll be fine.
First time ever. No reason at all. ECB gets a meme edit. A tiny Meat Gang style meme edit.
Oh. No, that's putting too much work on me for short notice, but I would like to do something like that at one point. Anyway, let's get out of here. I'm going to edit this quickly, set it to render, and walk the dog or something.
Hell yeah.
We will see you all on Neomuna.
I was going to say after Lightfall.
Yeah, we need to also figure out when we're going to record next. But that's an us problem, not a you problem. Please come back after Lightfall.
And listen to us yell about new stuff.
Yes, please click the Lightfall button.
I hate you.
Click this.
This is the last episode.
I can't do anything with subscribe though, but you should hit that button as well. Drop a comment. It really only works for like.
See you at the Puka Pond.
Yes, see you at the Puka Pond. That doesn't show up.
I love them.
Bye.
I can't wait to meet them. Bye.
Little fish.
So excited to meet them.